Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 38 of the Check the Wire podcast. Very special guest today, the one, the only, SmallAnt. Welcome to Check the Wire, man. You're filling in for Ryan Gary as co-host today. What's going on, man?
Hello. Not too much. Not too much at all.
Thanks so much for coming on. For people that are unfamiliar with what you do, can you give people the rundown of who you are and what you do online?
For me, I'm mostly known for kind of speedruns and challenge content on, right now, mostly a focus on Nintendo games like Mario, Pokemon, Zelda. Those are the big three that I do most of the time. And, yeah, recently, over the last 2 years, managed to get my YouTube channel to a pretty good size that I'm happy with, and things are going well for me right now. So,
what do you define as a pretty good size for you?
I mean,
This is not bragging, okay. I'm asking, so don't feel
just to give some context.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, I don't know, I'm around like 350,000 followers on Twitch. I think 850,000 on YouTube for subscribers, and then other platforms as well. But those are a little bit more less significant for sure.
When you say less significant, what do you mean by that?
Not less important, just in size, less significant. It's like
what do you mean? Like just in comparison, or what? Or...
Yeah, like I mean, like 40,000 followers on like Twitter is it's not my main focus, is I guess the way to put it.
What is your main focus?
Generally, like my pipeline for creating content is it kind of starts at Twitch, and then I do things that I think people will enjoy watching. I cut that down, put it onto YouTube, and then like Twitter and TikTok is more like each of them has their own role. Like Twitch is like the long form stuff. YouTube is the edited down stuff that kind of appeals to the wider audience. It's easier to consume, and then Twitter is more for like if people want to kind of get a better idea of me as like a person, how I think, and like kind of each platform has its own thing. But the ones that I put the most time into are definitely Twitch and YouTube. Okay.
Can you, I want to rewind just a little bit. How long have you been, first things first, what inspired you to start creating content online? And then how long ago was that?
I think it was, I think 4 or so years ago.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine at the time introduced me to Twitch, and kind of I saw it and it seemed interesting, and there was a game called Little Big Planet for the PlayStation series that I was really into at the time, and I wanted to make stuff, and just figured if people wanted to watch, they could watch. So I did that for a while. I did that and mixed in some like casual games occasionally for about 2 years. I think it averaged like 4 viewers over those 2 years.
Were you working at the time? Were you in school? Where were you at in your life?
I was just taking a break from school, and I was really fortunate actually. I had a part-time job that I worked Saturdays and Sundays, and that was it, and that covered my bills. So I was really lucky in that case.
Nice. So you're streaming kind of just casually, and then what happened? Because then you don't go from like 2 to 3 viewers to 850,000 subscribers on YouTube. Something had to happen.
Yeah, so the big shift was when a friend of mine and a moderator for the stream, she jokingly said, "Hey, you should join this Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning tournament." And I had never done any speedrunning before, but I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else going on. Sure. So I signed up, never had any experience, and I don't enter tournaments to lose, so I just did my best, and that I experienced a little bit of success. Like I think I went up to like 40 average viewers, because by the end of the tournament I was top 10 in the world at it.
How much did you practice for that tournament?
It was like 16 hours a day. It was pretty much every waking hour.
So what was the lead time from when you signed up to the tournament? Do you have like 2 weeks, 30 days?
I had a week to practice before the tournament started.
And did you stream your 16 hours a day practice?
I streamed about 8 of those hours, and then off stream I would kind of get more grindy about it, and just like the specific hard stuff, just spend like an hour or two.
So you went from like zero speedrunning experience to joining a speedrunning tournament on a whim to then practicing 16 hours a day for what you said, a week? A week?
Yeah,
2
it was
weeks?
like, I mean, I went until the tournament was over, so it was a few months.
Okay.
And yeah, by the end of the tournament, and this is kind of where things changed. I mean, you could guess, but my hands were just destroyed because you can't do that. That's not healthy. Like I had to take like, I think it was like 3 months off of playing any video games whatsoever because my thumbs, the tendons in them had worn down. Like it was bad.
What's for context, what's an average like time a speed run to completion in Odyssey?
Super Mario Odyssey, the world record when I was doing it was between an hour and 5 minutes and an hour and 2 minutes. So,
Okay.
uh, anywhere under like an hour and 10 minutes was what I was kind of
Okay.
getting.
So you practice your face off, you show up in this tournament, you do really well, and you said top 10?
Yep.
And
No,
then,
I got third in the tournament, but on the leaderboard for the world at the end of it all. Yeah.
oh, very cool. So then after that, then like the next day you stream on Twitch and all of a sudden there's 10 times many viewers. Is that how simple it was?
Yeah. Well, there was kind of a limit to that, and it's what led me to more to my success. I don't think speedrunning was kind of like a stepping stone because what had happened was my hands deteriorated and I couldn't play for 3 months. Like I didn't stream for 3 months after the tournament because I literally couldn't. Like I couldn't hold a controller without feeling like some level of pain. And so I was like, well, I still want to stay in the community. What can I do to stay in? And I was like, well, I can start making videos and like help people out that also want to learn. And so like I started doing some speedrunning tutorials for people that wanted to get into it. And that was the first videos on my channel, my YouTube channel, was speedrunning tutorials for Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay, for Odyssey. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then do you remember how those videos were received? Did they do really well for like a brand new channel, or was it?
Yeah, actually. So my very first video, the day I published it, the world record holder watched it on stream as well as Trihex. He was speedrunning Super Mario Odyssey as well, and he's pretty well known, and he had a lot of viewers at that time. So I think my first video within like a week got like 3,000 views, which is really, really good for a first video. Like
that's amazing.
It killed it.
So you got some exposure from the tournament. Then your first video got some exposure because you put value out there. You're like, hey, look, you want a speed run? Here's a video for you to at least learn how to get started.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were asking questions, and I was like, well, I could just answer these questions, and whenever they have them, just send them the video.
Okay.
So I did that. I did like a full series on that, and then also to stay active in the community, I ran some community events, and those had like videos associated with them. So those also went onto my YouTube channel, and it gradually shifted into what it was today.
So you're doing all this during the 3 months when you physically can't really play.
Yes.
And then when you come back, so you run some events, you're staying active, you're creating content that, is helping people or at least giving people a resource. And then when you came back to stream, what did you stream when you came back?
Yeah, so I had done those community events. I did some small collaborations with people because I could play maybe an hour at a time after a little while. But when I came back, I had maybe like, I think it was like 10 average viewers-ish.
Okay.
And I was just doing some more speedrunning stuff, but like it was like 2-hour streams because that's really all my hands could handle. But I had one conversation with a content creator. His name was Fearsome Fire at the time. He's not super active anymore. But he was doing stream highlights for Super Mario Odyssey for just stuff that he was doing, playing the game, and that was doing really well. Like he was getting like 100,000s of views. Some videos get 1 million or so. I was like, he's doing really well, and I spoke with him because I did a small collaboration with him during my time off. He helped me out with an event, and he was like, yeah, you should really try stream highlights. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I'll try that if I ever find anything that's worth highlighting. And kind of the day that everything shifted was I had a sub goal to get, I think it was 15 subs, like 15 subs on Twitch. And I reached it, and it was to do a speed run that Fearsome Fire had just done called Minimum Captures, where it's just like a type of speed run in Super Mario Odyssey.
What makes it unique?
It has this trick that's really hard that at the time only 2 people in the world had ever done. And I was like, I bet I could do that. And So I ended up doing it, and I think I got the world record in it, just because
For
like the
that
trick was
sub
hard.
goal?
Yeah, for that sub goal, it
Okay.
was just finish the run.
Mhm.
But I finished the run. I highlighted it, and just because like the fact that he had like 100,000 subscribers at the time, and then I went in and I beat his time. So like people from his
Yeah.
audience was like, oh, we want to see this guy that beat him. So from there I got a kind of a little jump start a little bit, but I kind of realized at that point like this, like it could potentially work because the video, I'm not exactly sure how many views it got, but it was way better than all of my tutorial videos, because instead of people searching for it, it was being recommended to people, specifically his audience.
So that was that was a big boost. And then when you saw that video kind of take off or the algorithm pick it up, did anything change for you internally in terms of where your direction shifted?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I started setting a few more sub goals. Like there's a Super Mario 64 1-star speedrun, which is notoriously difficult just because of one trick in it. And I was like, yeah, I could probably do that. So I tried it and I did it, upload the video. It did well again. So I was like, okay, it's exciting.
Did you set any records with that, or you just completed
No,
it? Okay.
actually, I have the worst ever time in that category. I'm
Okay.
last on the leaderboards.
Okay. But you completed it, which was
yeah,
the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge is completing, because it is really hard. Like I think the leaderboard has like 55 people on it, and the game is what, like 20 years old. Yeah, so it's a little bit difficult. But the thing that really kind of catapulted me after that was I beat Super Mario Odyssey blindfolded.
The entire game?
Entire game, start to finish, never saw it. And that was a goal that I had. It took a lot of practice. It took like a month of practice.
Because you're talking, it's an hour plus speed run. You did it blind.
I think it took me like 14 hours to do it the first time, where you just memorize pretty much the game, and like okay, I need to dive 4 times here, and then I need to do a cap throw. I need to turn right and then do like 7 more dives, and just memorize the whole game all the way through. So over the course of a month, you just memorize all the inputs. And
so you had to memorize an hour 5. Well, for you on a speed run, an hour's worth of inputs, more or less.
And like some of the things you can do with your eyes, you obviously can't do when you're blindfolded, because it requires a little bit more, like, you have to see what you're doing to be able to do a lot of the strats for the speed run. So I had to pretty much develop a whole run where it wasn't necessary to look at the game to get all the stuff required to beat it.
So you're doing this when you're practicing this. Are you streaming all this practice and people know what you're doing?
Yeah, I streamed all that practice, and I mean, the stream was still pretty small, like 20, 30 average viewers. But when I actually did it, I think my viewers went up to like 200. It was crazy. I mean, I couldn't see that, but apparently there was a lot of people in chat, and that was amazing. And I did one attempt, and I wasn't able to do it in my first attempt. I got to the very end, like in the speed run, there was like 45 seconds left, and I couldn't complete that last 45 seconds. I was there for like 2 hours, and I just kept failing that part. So I failed it, and I made a YouTube video.
Did you throw the towel in and be like, I'm done?
Or I was like, we're gonna practice this more and do it again.
Okay.
So yeah,
that communicates a good message to the audience. Like, hey, look, like we're not quitting. We just need to figure this out. Okay.
Yeah. Generally, whenever I do something, I'm committed to it, for sure. So, I did fail it. I uploaded a video. It did super well compared to like my usual. Like I remember I was at work on the weekend, and there's someone that I work with consistently, and they kept asking me how the video was doing. It's doing so well. I was so excited about it, because it was.
And when you say that video, did you edited the whole 14 hours down to like the highlights?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went and like I only streamed like at that point. By the time I was doing the blindfolded runs, my hands had recovered a little bit, and I was a little bit more conscientious of my hand health. So. I was able to play a little bit longer, but yeah, whenever I was just streaming and editing a little bit casually, is like 8 hours a day of just like stream and YouTube kind of stuff.
And I want to get a little granular. When you took a run like that, so your first attempt blindfolded, what is your process in terms of editing it down? Do you have like a sweet spot of, hey, I need it to be this many minutes, I know these moments? Like, what is from like, okay, you completed that run. what is your next step in your process to editing it down?
I have I have editors now, and I have like a set of steps that I kind of figured out along the way. It's written out, but let me see if I can remember. Basically, the way I edit a video is I don't care about how long it is. I have some videos on my channel that are 10 minutes. I have some videos on my channel that are an hour and a half. And both of those do well as long as they're edited well. So the things that I focus on is my editing process is I look at the audio, and whenever I'm talking, I always jump to that, see if it's anything that's interesting or that someone might find engaging, and I jump to that. If it's not engaging, I cut it out. If it is engaging, I'll leave it in and put it so the goal of the video is to not have any like sort of dead air. There's always something going on that you can focus on. Like maybe I'm doing a big trick in the game and that requires me to focus, so I'm talking less, but the game still something serious is happening, or maybe Chat and I are having just a weird conversation. So I'll include that. And yeah, the goal at the end of the video is make it so it makes sense going from like everything is kind of connected. It makes sense going from one kind of cut to another, but also that you can understand what's going on along the way and get a general feeling for what the stream is like.
Okay. So you said you used to do that, and then now you have editors. And I know we're jumping around a little bit. When did you get to the point when you're like, all right, hey, look, I either don't have time or I don't want to do this anymore, or I can use my time more efficiently? What happened to you to be like, all right, now's the time to get an editor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have editors, but I still do edit a lot of my own videos. But essentially, I did the tournament in 2017. In 2018, I had started doing more. I started the YouTube channel, and I beat the blindfolded run by the end of the year. So for pretty much all of 2019, I edited my videos. I ended up getting to, I think by the end of 2019, 200,000 subscribers. And I didn't get an editor until March of this year. I think I was at 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers. And I probably should have gotten an editor, like kind of once it got to the point where, I could give an editor a fair wage just from what I'm earning on YouTube. I probably should have, because it would be better for my time. But I didn't do that because I wanted the full control of all of my content for as long as I could. So
and so let's talk about that control, right? So up until that point, like it's your vision. Anything that hits the channel, it's on you. And you said you don't want to give up this control. How did you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm okay with giving up some control for what benefit?
What ended up happening was for pretty much all of 2019, almost every waking hour I spent was working on either Twitch or YouTube or just anything in related to the like content creation, because I saw the opportunity and I was like, I'm not gonna let it slip. So I put everything into it. But by the end of 2019, I was pretty tired.
What made you realize that was your opportunity? Was there just something going on? Like what did you infer? What did you see around you? Be like, hey, this is the moment. If I don't squeeze it, it's not gonna happen.
It was really once I started uploading those stream highlights and once I actually did beat Super Mario Odyssey successfully blindfolded. I think that video, I had maybe like 10,000 subscribers, but I think that video got to like 100,000 views in a week. And kind of once that started happening, and I had like so many ideas that people hadn't done yet. And I was like, you know what? I think I can, if these ideas are what people is actually interested in, then yeah, I think I have a good chance to make this work. And over the course of the year, it ended up working.
Okay, so 2019, then you just like, all you did was work. Did you take any time off? Like what was your stream schedule, YouTube schedule like back then?
I streamed for, I think, 6 hours every weekday. I think it was 2019 for the start of the year. It was from January to the end of April. I would stream 6 hours a day, Monday to Friday. But I'd wake up at around 8 a.m. So from 8 a.m. to my stream start, which is 1 for 5 hours, I'd do some editing. And then after the stream ended at around 7 p.m., I would do more editing until I went to bed at around like 11.
So literally all you did was work.
Yeah, yeah, and like of course there's like maybe an hour of like cooking and cleaning a little bit, shower stuff like that. But yeah, and then Saturdays and Sundays I work. I worked at the time like two hour drive away, so I'd drive like Friday night 2 hours. I'd work a graveyard shift on Friday night, so I'd work midnight to 8 a.m. Sleep, wake up, I think sleep again, and then work Sunday, drive back, and repeat.
So you were still working this part-time job, this weekend job that covered everything up
Yes.
until, do you still work? When did you stop that?
It was my birthday on 2019 was my last day, or it was the day before my birthday. So I was like, my birthday, I'm gonna not work, and that's gonna be the day where I go full time.
What allowed you to make that decision? Like that you're like, okay, hey, look, I feel like I can do this, or because that's a pretty big moment to go from, putting as much time in as you have while still working a part-time job to cover your expenses. I mean, was it just a math number? Or was it more than that?
Yeah, what I ended up doing, once it started, like it was in around December that it was like maybe I might be able to make this full time one day. I ended up bringing it up with my parents, and they were like, we don't really get it, but and they've actually come to be like super supportive. Like actually my mom runs my other YouTube channel now, pretty much. Like she's constantly in the stream. I just did a YouTube video with her. So they've kind of grown to really be super supportive of it, and they're really involved. But at the time they were like, we don't get it. But a good rule of thumb is if you're consistently making like 2 times as much as you are with your part-time job, that's probably the point where you can reasonably quit.
So it wasn't even 1-to-1. You're like, oh, I'm making
No.
as much. No, which is, I mean, that's like overly conservative, but that was their advice to you, or that was internally what you said for yourself?
Yeah, that was their advice to me, and I think I did that for I think 2 or 3 months in a row. It was consistently above the amount that I was making at it was actually at a sawmill that I worked at.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what did you do?
Yeah, I was a spark watcher at a sawmill. So essentially, I was paid so their insurance didn't go up. I was paid to watch someone weld and make sure nothing caught on fire.
So so I'd be sitting here welding, and you would just make sure if something caught on fire, just tap the guy and be like, hey, there's something on fire.
I just there's a water hose. I just pick up the hose and spray it down. But I think that happened like twice in the 4 years that I worked there.
So you're telling me you have a job, and this is part of like the genius of it, where but you have to be on point. It's not like you can be snoozing. That's an important job where you can't mess around.
Yeah. Like before the welder starts working, you kind of clean up the area, and that's why nothing ever catches on fire. You clean up the area a bit, so you're in the sawdust pushing it away for like 20 minutes before the work starts. But for the rest of the day, you're standing around chatting with the welder for 11 hours, and you're literally just there so their insurance doesn't go up.
So can you have a podcast in? Are you thinking of video ideas? Are you sitting down? Are you standing just watching? Like, what are you doing? Because it's not like, doesn't sound like a normal job where you're like, no offense, where you're engaged doing stuff. You're like, semi-engaged.
Very, like, not really engaged at all, if I'm being completely honest.
I was trying to cover here.
Like they were paying you because you're cheaper than their insurance would be if you're not there. Like, that's it. But really, yeah, for like 11 hours a day, 2 days a week, I just sat there and I just thought of video ideas. Like, I just sat there, and because what else you got to do, right? You're just standing there. So I just either think or occasionally have conversations with the person that was welding.
I've never heard of that job. I mean, like, so
yeah,
so 22 hours a week times 4 years. So whatever, like, and the majority of that, probably 99.5% of the time, you weren't doing anything. You're just standing there watching.
Correct. Yes.
And it's called the what? Like, is this job, like, some people in chat are like, are they hiring? It's called the Spark Watcher?
Yeah, you just spark watch, and because you're watching the sparks.
How did you get that job?
In high school, the sawmill. I live in like northern Canada.
Like Thunder Bay? Whereabouts?
Northwestern Canada, like British Columbia.
Okay.
So, Yeah, they were hiring for like a cleanup position in high school. They were just looking for high schoolers to clean up the sawmill. And I did that for a little bit, and then eventually, like, hey, do you just want to do the Spark Watch? I was like, sure, yeah, that sounds good. I don't have to go there at like at midnight and work. I can go there when everyone else is there and just watch sparks.
That's amazing. I mean, so okay, so to kind of bring things back, so you have this job that you
Yes.
work for a long time. I mean, it's you have to drive. It's it's a job, right? It's still not
Yeah.
it's still a job. So you get to a point when you quit. I mean, that's got to be a hard job to say, hey, like
Well, I
it's
mean,
not
after
you, it's
4,
me.
like it sounds good, but after 4 years of doing nothing, you just want something that's a little more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of soul sucking. It's so easy, and like if you wanted to, you could just do that for life. Like working 2 days a week, that's semi-retired.
But it sounds like an ideal job for someone who's trying to build something on the side or with their free
Yes.
time.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like I was really fortunate because I did have that. I did have that. That's just a big opportunity of like 5 days a week where I could do whatever.
So what did you tell him? You said, "Hey, look." Did you tell him why you quit?
Uh,
Did
I
people at
talked to
work
the.
know? Did they know what you did at work?
Well, I have one example because most of the people there were just like grumpy old men. They were
Mhm.
just all like really. Like, they're all in a bad mood. They didn't like working there, but it paid well and it supported their families. So they're there. But I remember one conversation I had in the break room. One of them sat down in front of me, and this was like I think a month or two before I ended up putting in my 2 weeks to quit. They're like, "So how's your blog doing?" I was like, so I kind of just looked at them. It's doing really well. It's doing very well. It's like, oh, glad to hear that. So
So that was,
they knew that I was doing stuff on the internet, but didn't really. I don't think they've used the internet kind of people.
okay. So when you quit, I'd imagine you had a certain amount of appreciation for the fact that you could go full time. Now you don't have to drive an hour each
Mhm.
way and do that. So when you quit, did anything change on your end in terms of production? Did you do more? Did you do less? Did you what changed for you at that point?
For me, I had 2 more days a week, and I ended up taking those days to edit some more. Sundays I tried to take off, but most of the time I'd be like, well, I could work on this instead. So I ended up doing that a bit, and just had a little bit more free time, which was really nice. I was able to relax a bit more, go out sometimes. Uh, it's very nice and just a good feeling. Like I'd never experienced, being sort of self-employed. I guess is very nice.
Yeah, I mean, one of the threads to your story though is just it seems like you just worked your face off, and
It,
you took advantage of the opportunity. Where did for you did that work ethic come from somewhere? Did it just come from a spot of hey, I don't want to work in the mill forever? Or what did you? Because that's a
Mhm.
lot. What you said you did in terms of when you worked, when you slept very, you slept, but you didn't really do anything else other than work. Where did that come from for you?
I mean, I remember when I was very young. Uh, Once I was old enough to sort of have my own opinions. I like you'd get asked like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I was like, "I want to test video games." But in my head, testing video games is just
It's-
like, "I want to play video
yeah.
games." So I think like even just from a super young age, I've always kind of been like, that would be really cool. And like growing up, you see like watch YouTube occasionally, see people playing video games, like that'd be really cool. So just seeing that and being like, I might actually be able to do that now. And I'm like, if there's a chance, I'm gonna take it. And I took it.
Okay. Cool. So now you're full time. Full time, aka you don't work your part time job. This is
Hmm.
you said like 2019.
Yeah, May of 2019, I went full time.
Okay. And then just for context, do you remember roughly like around what your Twitch channel was and what kind of views you were getting at that time, just for context?
Um, I said to myself, I would like for my YouTube channel to sort of maintain. I think I was at around 30,000 followers on Twitch
Hmm.
and a little bit less than that it must have been a little bit, no, sorry, 30,000 subscribers on YouTube
Okay.
and less than that on Twitch. I think I was like, as long as I have around 300 to 400 subs on Twitch
Hmm.
And then YouTube, I can't remember the size, but 30,000 subscribers. I think the videos were generally getting more views than my channel had subscribers, which it was still growing.
Which is insane. So you're saying like if you had 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, your videos were getting at least 30,000 views?
Yeah, minimum. I
That's
think the worst
insane.
videos got around 30. It was doing well. And yeah, I sort of have a philosophy on creating YouTube videos that I think is it lines up with what the algorithm wants right now.
What's your philosophy?
How do I boil it down? With my YouTube channel, it's all about kind of finding it sounds very obvious, but it just you got to create content that people want to watch. Now there's a lot to that, obviously, but there has to be a reason for someone to want to watch the videos. So maybe it's something someone's never done before, or something someone has done before, but you did it in a different way that makes it more interesting. So like when I first started, it was a lot of doing content that larger content creators had done, and I was kind of almost piggybacking off of them, like kind of leeching their viewers in a way. But I mean, I was putting my own spin on it, so it was original. And then I started kind of introducing my own ideas.
Like what are some videos that you look to that were like, hey, this was a big inspiration, and you put the SmallAnt twist on it? Like, or were there any that you like, people that you look to are like, hey, this person was instrumental, or this video was?
The biggest person at the time was probably Fearsome Fire. He did a lot of challenges, and just like people that did like challenge runs. There was another person that was into Super Mario Odyssey at the time, DGR. He's switched over to I think slightly more Mario Maker focused now.
So I'm just looking at your YouTube now. Like, here are some of the titles. Like, if chat makes me laugh, I reset the speedrun. Like, I want to click on that. Wind Waker, but all the items are random. Pokemon, but I can only use shinies. How my mom became a top 50 speedrunner in the world. Like, these are all things like you want to click on. There's no, so like there's an art to that, right?
For sure. Like it's all about like, I think a really good example of kind of where my content kind of shines is the Pokemon community on YouTube. I think a lot of Pokemon YouTubers kind of when I don't know how to describe this, but when the algorithm was like different and it was like really promoting Let's Plays, a lot of them have kind of stuck to that. A lot of people have stuck to that kind of Let's Play focus where it's like, all right, maybe something that happened in the video, the day that this happened, or the big event, maybe, playthrough episode number 34. And before, YouTube would really heavily recommend that, like a lot, because it was when people would watch a lot of videos on one channel, it would recommend that channel a lot. But it's kind of shifted to each individual video having to carry itself now. So there has to be something about that specific video that attracts people. And so pretty much every one of my videos, like something that you might notice on my channel is I have like multi-part series, but I never label that it's a part 2.
Why is that?
Because why would anyone want to watch part 2 when they didn't watch part 1?
Yeah.
That's why I never put numbers, or if I put numbers, it's at the very end where it's in the dots and you can't see it anymore.
That's
like,
how did you get to this? Like, I'm looking at every one of your videos, and it's like every one you want to click on. Like the Zelda speed run where you pet the dogs as fast as ... It's just like every one of these videos is intriguing, which is insane.
Yeah, and like I said, I had 22 hours a week for like a year to think about stuff, and write it down on my phone for video ideas and stuff. And it's all about it's all about finding stuff that makes it interesting. Like I've recently kind of gotten to a few casual playthroughs. Like the most recent one I think is the 3D world, the Super Mario 3D world. I made a video on that where it's just a casual playthrough. It's literally just a casual playthrough. That's all it is. But it says Mario speedrunner, plays 3D World for the first time. The thumbnail is like, I think, Luigi getting a bunch of 1-ups, and it shows like a ridiculous 1-up counter, and it captures that interest of a person. It's like, okay, there's a few questions that someone can see getting into that video. Like, I think with a YouTube title and thumbnail, you're trying to capture their attention and kind of make them ask a question that it's big enough that they have to click on the video to get it answered. So that specific thumbnail is Mario speedrunner plays 3D World for the first time. They see, okay, Mario speedrunner playing 3D World for the first time. Is he good at the game? Maybe. I don't know. Like, obviously, he's played Mario before. Is he good at 3D World? And then they see the thumbnail, and it's like, okay, 450 lives. He's getting a 1-up. How is he getting all these 1-ups? Did he find like a glitch? He's a speedrunner. And so you got a lot of questions in your head once you see that thumbnail and the title, and you're like, okay, well, I'll find out. And they click on the video and watch it.
So for this Mario speedrunner, and this for context, if you're listening right now, this video was posted 6 days ago, has 725,000 views. Where did the native content come from? Was this streamed on Twitch, or did you just do this for a YouTube video?
Yeah, for me, I know that a lot of my entertainment value is me kind of interacting with chat, and so pretty much I don't think I've ever done any sort of me content, like where I'm doing stuff.
Meaning what?
Like I've done videos that are like post commentary, but they're kind of more like or like done off stream, but it's more like a speed run history, like it's a documentary kind of video.
Got it.
Rather than like gameplay. Like any gameplay stuff I do live on Twitch, because I feel like I'm a lot better when I have chat to bounce things off of.
So let me ask this. So when Mario speedrunner plays 3D World for the first time, did that start as a video idea and then you're like, let me do this on stream? Or was it inverse? Did you like, oh, let's do this and then I can make it into a video? Like, is it the chicken or the egg? How does that work for most of your videos?
Whenever I do anything on stream, it's a lot of where it comes from is I think about it and it's like, can I come up with a good title and thumbnail for YouTube?
Before you start the stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So anything that I do on Twitch that is going to be turned into a video, I generally already know the video title or in thumbnail, or at least somewhat.
Okay. So let me ask this, because I'm getting way too far ahead of ourselves. What is your Twitch schedule? What is your Twitch show like? So when are you live? And then let's start with that.
I'm live 5 days a week, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
And I stream for like 5 hours on average.
What time do you start? So people...
It's 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. And so when you do that, like I'm coming to your stream for the first time, am I seeing a new game every time? What should I expect when I show up? Am I seeing 3 games during one stream, 2 games? What am I...
It's generally 1 game every stream. So, if someone comes that day for a specific game, they're there the whole day. But I do switch it up quite a lot. Like this week, it's Tuesday or Wednesday today. It's Wednesday today. So Monday I did Super Mario Odyssey. Tuesday I did Breath of the Wild. Today I'm playing a Pokemon game. Tomorrow I'm playing Minecraft, and on Friday I'll be playing Breath of the Wild.
Okay. So for the most part, you said that's like kind of like a Nintendo umbrella style, but even with that, like that's a lot of variety even under the Nintendo umbrella. You know what? Is that how your Twitch always has been?
Once it started getting a little more successful, I did branch out a few times to miscellaneous games. Like I've done a few that just appeals to a wide audience. Like I played like Cookie Clicker. I did some GeoGuessr.
But I'm going to guess you probably had a Cookie Clicker video in mind.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Brilliant.
And it's
my mind is
one of my
blown.
best videos.
What video did you get from that? Or what do you remember what it was?
So I remember seeing the specific video idea came from, I saw a video that did really well where it was like it was called like the dumbest speedrun or something like that. And it was just a picture of a cookie with like the mouse pointer on it. And I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting, but I bet I could do better for a video title and thumbnail. So I ended up, I turned on media share that day and did a Cookie Clicker speedrun. And so media share, people always really like that because, they get to play whatever they want, and it's just a lot of of videos that play on stream. So it's kind of really interactive for the stream, but then also for YouTube, it's really condensed. It's just all real good stuff. And like that video, like I came up with the thumbnail, which is just like the speed run was to get 1 billion cookies as fast as possible. So just put the billion on that, and that's just a big number. People like big numbers.
Yeah.
The mouse cursor on top of a cookie, and then I think the title of the stream was chat picks the music, and while I speedrun Cookie Clicker. So that, like I said, it creates a lot of questions that people really want to see. It's like, wait, speedrunning Cookie Clicker? Like a lot of people have played Cookie Clicker. It's a pretty popular game, or it was at least for a while. So like speedrun, like you just click, like what? And then also the draw is like, okay, chat's also picking the music. People just like media share in general for that.
So okay, so now I'm starting to like get a better understanding. I've opened up your Twitch page, and here's your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
On your Twitch page says November 2nd to November 6th. Monday, Super Mario Odyssey, but the floor is literally lava. Tuesday,
Yes.
Breath of Wild, Bingo Race versus Point Crow. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure there's something engaging about that. Pokemon Emerald, only super effective moves do damage. Minecraft, but the ground is lava with Fundy. Breath of Wild speedrun training. So like what you just told me, like it's all there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I could describe the video like titles and thumbnails for you all the way through right now for all of those. Like
And then okay, so this is like, you got to understand, for someone like me, like I've interviewed a lot of content creators, and like, you can see certain paths. I've never seen this path before. Like it's kind of like, hey, there's a fork in the road, and then all of a sudden there's the SmallAnt path that goes underneath the ground and up. And it's, I mean, for you, like, did you learn this from someone? Is it just trial and error, and you're like, hey, this makes sense to have it all encompassing?
I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking about it and trying to see, like, okay, who is successful right now and why are they successful? Like okay, whenever I right now and why are go they successful? To on YouTube at any point, and this has been the case for like the last 2 years, once I started realizing that it could be a possibility that I went full time. Before I clicked on a video, I would take 30 seconds to be like, why am I clicking on this video? What about it made me want to click on it? Or if I see a video that has 7 million views, I'm like, I don't understand that. I look and I was like, okay, what about it made 7 million people want to click on that? And so that is kind of a start. It's like over, a year and a half, 2 years, you get a general feeling of what people want to watch after kind of just taking that time, like 30 seconds every video. It's like a few minutes every day ends up building up quite a lot to be able to figure out and get a feeling of what people want to watch.
What are some of the things you found yourself telling yourself when you're clicking on a video that were impactful, maybe that you still remember to this day?
The big thing, there's a few different things, but the big one is that it makes you ask a question to yourself. And once you ask that question, you're kind of hooked. Like, or it's either like ask a question or just give some absurd premise where the person looking at it is just like, there's no way. There's no way. And then they click on it, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, okay, and I'm gonna throw a tough one your way, and I want to preface this saying I don't necessarily believe this way. What's your take on clickbait? Like when someone says, "Oh, that's clickbait," or it may not be offensive. Like when you hear clickbait, what do you think of?
So I think there's two different widely used kind of definitions. There's the people that say like clickbait is titling a video so it's misleading and it's not honest, and it's just baiting people to click on the video. But I think the more commonly used way clickbait is used now is just to mean clickable. Like, it captures your interest and makes you want to click it. So I think a lot of people say clickbait is like, it appeals to too wide of an audience, so it's clickbait because it's phrased in a way that it kind of, a lot of my videos are phrased in a way that seem like this dishonest clickbait, like Pokemon but like I can only use shiny Pokemon. Like that could very easily be clickbait and be dishonest. But it seems like it's dishonest. But then you click on the video, and then it actually happens. Like, okay, he actually did that. So that's kind of my view on clickbait. It depends on what's like what your definition is.
Yeah,
Personally.
and like my definition of what I'm looking at you, I mean, to boil this down, you're phenomenal at writing copy, understanding your audience, and really understanding what people want to see, and are able to capture that and put it into a sentence and a half max, or a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
yeah, as short as possible, of course.
Okay, so as I'm looking at your YouTube, I mean, like, I want to watch every one of these videos, and I'm like, and some of it, like, I don't really watch Pokemon stuff, but I still want to watch some of the stuff. I noticed that, like, what is your output for the week on YouTube? Do you have a set output? What's your goal of how many videos per week, or is that not the take? Is it just you want to wait until you have like a great video?
Yeah, for me, my goal is 2 videos a week. Generally, I can stick to that, but it's tough sometimes. Like certain videos are they take a while to edit. Like there was one video that I think it was like 4 months old by the time it came out. Like the stream was 4 months before. Like I was a 24-hour stream where I just played Super Mario Sunshine. So that video took a few months, but generally I try 2 videos a week, but it's no like hard limit, no set time when I upload. It's just whenever the video is done, I generally upload it.
Sorry, Mario Odyssey is a perfect game with no glitches, and the thumbnail is Mario with no head or arms.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so let me ask this. So you have all these edited videos, right? And I can understand now, I get it, why you didn't want to give up control, right? Because these are very specific in terms of, I could see, what you needed to put in the video. So now you have an editor, right? Or editors. What is their role in your business or your side of production?
So I should probably preface it by, or at least kind of say how I got editors. So
Yeah.
for when I initially wanted editors, it was January of this year, and it was January of this year, and I just held like a.
Sorry, I'm looking at this
okay.
video. I just got to tell you, it says the Zelda speed run where you sleep with Paya as fast as possible. Get laid percentage. Sorry. Okay, I just had to get that out there so people know.
It's a good video. It's
okay.
Good.
So how you found your editors? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had like a contest where I was like, here is an hour-long segment of a stream. Edit it down, make it as long as you need, just to give me a good idea of what your editing looks like. And the best person I'll give a few $100s to, and then potentially I'll ask you to be my editor. So the person that won, I gave them their prize, but at that point I was like, I don't want to get an editor yet. But like 2 months later, 3 months later, I was like, hey, so you won the contest. Would you potentially want to be an editor? And they were like, oh, absolutely. So now like they're editing for me. So I already had a good idea of what their editing style was like before I even asked them to edit for me, and I had a good video. So the process for getting a video up now is I'll send them a video. If I have any like notes, I'll be like, okay, make sure to include this and make sure not to include this, and then they'll send me the project files. Once they have the video done, I'll watch through it and make any final changes that I need. At first, I changed probably like it was almost as much time as like a normal video would take me, was just revisions on the original video, and like I'd make notes and send it to them, anything that I changed. But I mean, it was always a really good job, but just really nitpicky things that was super small. But it's gotten to the point now where like that specific editor, like I think I changed like 2 or 3 seconds of the most recent video that he made. But I always kind of take like a look through it just to make sure that it all flows nicely. It includes everything that I kind of wanted it to include.
Okay. So now you're at the point now where you can just more or less you can stream, and then it's never that's it, but pretty much you just stream now and then oversee some of the editing.
Yeah. And I think this is a little bit of an aside, but I think editing actually made me significantly better at streaming. because when I edited my own videos, I could see, okay, this part is really engaging. I could, like, when I started, I was like, what made that part engaging? Why are so many people in chat talking at this point, or why do I like this moment? And it allowed me to kind of focus on the stuff that I felt was good about the stream, and was able to kind of do that more in the future. And there were certain points where I was like, I really wish I had said this during this moment, because it would just tie the video up together so much nicer. And so now when I'm streaming, I always have that in mind. It's like, this is going to be a YouTube video. I need to make sure that, like, if anything, like at key moments that I think are gonna have key things, I'll make sure that either, like, I can make sure that that is a good moment overall for a YouTube video.
That's
And
that's very like it feels like when I'm talking to you, you have this sense of coming from an entertainment background, because I sometimes will do the same thing. Like if you can feel like a TikTok moment coming up, like you'll phrase it, you start to narrate a little bit more. But most people, that's like an afterthought. For you, you got it from you're watching your videos and be like, oh, it would have been great if I said this in this moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of like galaxy braining right now. Like you, like from everything you're doing is like, it just seems like it's super well thought out in an insane way.
I did have, like, those 22 hours, man. They were they helped a lot.
Like Minecraft with my celebrity crush. My celebrity crush drops by chat. Like
that actually happened. That was crazy. I ended up mentioning that I had like a celebrity crush chat asked me one stream, and it turns out she happened to be streaming at that moment in time. And then we did a little bit of collaboration stuff together for
because
a while.
of that.
Yeah, because of that interaction.
Okay.
It's actually probably one of my favorite videos, because it's so wholesome. It was a really wholesome interaction.
Oh, see, based on the thumbnail, like I can tell you like rosied your cheeks up a little bit.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna throw you a selfish speedball right now, right? Because this is where my mind is, because and this is selfishly from every person we bring on, I always try to take something and like implement or try to execute it on, and you like this has really been mind blowing to me, and it's been, I'm so glad you came on. But let me throw this to you. Say you're playing through I Want to Be the Guy, right? You're playing through the entire game on Twitch. In your mind, what does that video look like? Like, because in my mind, that's where my mind goes. It's like, okay, hey, can this person beat the game in under 10 hours? But that's not good enough. That's not a SmallAnt headline. But that's the goal I set.
Okay, so I Want to Be the Guy. I haven't heard too much about it, so I can't imagine that a huge audience knows about the game. So you can't use the game's title to kind of make the title for the YouTube video. So it has to be something like you have to explain in the title it's a very hard game, and also just show in the thumbnail is very hard. And with the title and thumbnail,
It's like you could say it's the trolliest game of all time, or one of it's in that category. Something
like that. I'd have to hear one sec. Let me open up YouTube and see what the videos are like on that. So
this is what you do. This is what you would do for your own video. You type in I Want to Be the Guy into YouTube.
Yeah, just to see what kind of stuff is out there. Okay. Do you know do you know the game all the way through? You can spoil. Do you know what's coming? Okay.
I don't know. I'm probably 1/5 or 1/4 of the way through.
It looks like it takes a lot of assets from other games.
Yeah.
So I would say take the most recognizable characters that's in that game that people would know, that the people remember as being really difficult. So like I think there's like
Mike Tyson's
like
in
Mike Tyson
it.
fight, yeah, like stuff like that, where you'd maybe take 2 or 3 elements from that and put them in the thumbnail with like the main character of the game. Make it obvious that you might be like fighting them or something, and then say how, I don't know, the game like combining combining the most difficult games into one, or kind of something like that. It's a little bit wordy, but I think that would be something good for a video like that. Is it is combining a lot of the elements from a lot of difficult games into a single one. So I mean that's honest, but it's also something that people would be interested in.
Got it. That's interesting. So then, and then I wondered, you present the video in like not an entirety playthrough, but like the best moments, and then that's it, or do you just do boss fight? Like,
For me,
yeah,
it's I don't focus on like a specific thing. It's like if you know, for certain videos, it's a lot of like a good example is I have a Breath of the Wild video where I was just practicing for a speed run, and you know the start of the video it shows a lot of the tricks that for the speed run, but eventually it kind of deteriorates into me just sitting in one room in the game and we're arguing about how bread is soup.
okay,
Like the video kind of changes over time, and like, okay, this part's entertaining, I'll include this. These tricks are cool, I'll include those. It's very it's really just watch the video. Is this entertaining? Will people be engaged watching this moment?
yeah,
And if yes, good. If they wouldn't, then no.
that's really interesting. What's your so since you have a ton of success on YouTube, right? Like 700,000 views, 500,000 views, 2.1 million views. Just like you get it. Whatever it is, you get it. What is your take on like posting videos? Are you only posting bangers and like and I'm saying like on the back end of YouTube, like do you think flooding your channel with videos is bad? Does it matter? Does it not?
So I think in terms of like the recommendation system on YouTube, you can upload as many videos as you want, and if the video is good, it'll get recommended.
Mm-hmm.
But for subscribers, if you're uploading a lot of videos and your subscribers are only watching like every second or every third video, whenever they see like a notification for a YouTube channel, it'll kind of you'll devalue it in your brain. It's like, okay, I see a notification, just swipe away because that's not a video I'm interested in. Whereas if you
see a SmallAnt video, you're clicking it. There's SmallAnt alert.
If you only upload like the really like stuff that is going to do well, that you have really confidence in, people are going to value your videos a lot higher, and your subscribers will watch a lot more of your videos because every video is it's going to be something that's special.
Which to what you're saying is that has nothing to do with the algorithm. It just has to do with the content, right?
And honestly, yeah, my idea of the algorithm, it's not like some magical thing that no one understands. It's more just like it's it recommends what people want to watch to those people. So and it's a lot more complicated than that, but in my mind, the way I kind of imagine it is, if a large number of people want to watch a specific video, it'll get recommended that type of video. And like for example, I think Spelunky 2 just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recently.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine a lot of people were probably searching for Spelunky 2, so YouTube would recommend a lot of even just basic Spelunky playthroughs because people just want to see what the gameplay is like. So a lot of people just doing Let's Plays, I imagine at the start, would get a lot of stuff because a lot of people just want to see some gameplay, see what the game is like. But over time, they've seen the gameplay, people are less interested in it, and YouTube recognizes that less people are interested in it, so it recommends those playthroughs less because people have already seen the gameplay. They want to see maybe something unique about the game, and I haven't played it myself, so I don't know what it's like, but maybe some interesting notes about like something interesting or new happens. And I think that's why Sinvicta, he's been doing like
doing great on Isaac.
Binding of Isaac.
Yeah,
he's been like Isaac, exactly, where he uploads videos and he titles them in a way that makes it unique, and it is just gameplay, but really what it comes down to, like, the gameplay is really good. He's very good at the game, but the YouTube and thumbnails, the ones that do really good, is okay, it's something new that I haven't seen yet. It's something that's interesting and fresh rather than just gameplay. Even though it is just gameplay, you're getting something at least new that's engaging.
Dude, I wish, like, I cannot convey to you like the galaxy brain you've dropped all over the podcast. Which is, I'm so glad, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I didn't know. Like, this is the first guest, and this is fourth wall break, and this is first guest where Ryan's like, "Hey, I know SmallAnt. He'd be a great fit. Come on." Everyone else has been like kind of within, my hemisphere of people that I know. How do you know Ryan? How did you and Ryan connect?
I've been watching Northern Lion since day one of Isaac, actually.
Okay.
I remember like when I was like 13 or 14. It was pretty young. I remember watching the first episode.
How old are you?
Like my friend showed it to
How
me.
old are you?
I'm 24.
Dude, I mean, take this in the best. You do not have the creation brain of a 24-year-old. I mean, like, I'm just telling you, like, for you to be able to dissect this and how that you've done things so efficiently. I mean, are you, because I don't want to say it's like, I'd imagine you did well in school, but I imagine you did well interacting somewhere in the realm of school. Like, what was your school experience like?
I was valedictorian.
I'm done. What podcast is over? You know what I mean?
Granted, my class was 40 people, so that's not too big.
But like for me, it's like, academically, I knew you'd be on point. But this is not like, I don't look at this as academics. This is like understanding human nature, and it's like marketing, creativeness. I don't know, but whatever it is, man, you got it. And you obviously, you don't need me to tell you that. I'm just. It seemed like how did you put the piece? It seemed like you put the pieces together relatively quickly.
I mean, like, the big thing is that, like, I'm trying to think of maybe one specific thing that helped me out a lot, and I think the thing that started it is like, to be able to upload videos that people want to watch, you need to want to know what they want to watch. And so the thing that helped a lot is like analyzing every single video that I clicked on. Why do I want to click on this? Or even if I didn't want to click on the video and I saw it had a lot of views, why did someone else want to watch that video? Why does this have 3 million views? Just asking yourself that, and before you click on the video, just figure out why those people wanted to watch that video.
All right, let me ask this, because we've talked about every single one of your W's. I mean, not everyone. Everything we've talked about has been W's. What are some things that you've tried or that hasn't gone well or not as well as you thought? And what did you learn from that?
I've had one video that I could call like a big flop on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I played Untitled Goose Game. And it gave me a lot of insight onto why things do well and do poorly, because I was still experimenting a little bit, trying to figure out what works and what didn't. And that video, it's surrounded by videos like I have 2.8 million views, 2.1 million views, 97,000 million views, and that's the goose. 787,000 views, 1.7 million views. Like, those are the videos in that area.
97,000 views, Chad. So
yeah.
Okay. So
and it's surrounded by like millions of views around that video, like before and after. So that video specifically flopped compared to the other videos.
And why do you think that is? Or why, the myriad of reasons, why do you think that is?
So with that video specifically, it was about a month after the game came out. Okay. Now with Untitled Goose Game, all of the videos that came out that did well they came out like the day the game came out, because it was a game that was very short-lived. It's a short game. If you've seen the gameplay and you've seen everything that happens, you know. So if you've seen one video, you don't need to watch another one. The only reason why someone would want to watch it is to watch it specifically for me. And if you don't have a huge audience, that's not going to work for doing super well. So, and that video specifically, there's nothing that makes you kind of ask that question or get interested. Like the
title is Sport Goose Goes on a Date.
Yeah, and that's just referencing something in the video, but like, who cares?
Versus, hold on. So Wii Fit speedruns are a thing that exists, ... versus Sport Goose Goes on a Date.
Yeah,
like okay.
There's a big difference. Like, you can just feel which one is better. And it's just because, like, Yeah, like Wii Fit speedruns. Okay, there's a speedrun for Wii Fit, like the balance board game. What? They exist. It looks like he's pretty into it. Like the thumbnail is me just like with like motion blur and stuff on me there. And then the sport goose is just a goose from Untitled Goose Game holding a rose. Like, okay, yeah, I know you can hold a rose. Like I've seen the gameplay. What's so special about that?
I cannot read this title, but it says 3,000 people watched me blank live on stream. World record.
Yeah, it's
I know it's a trick. I know it's a speedrun trick, but I'm not gonna say it. You can say it. I'm not gonna say it, but
yeah. Like so the trick that I was talking about that's really difficult. I was a little bit earlier with that Super Mario Odyssey speedrun with the really hard trick. The trick is called wet nut jumping, where you take a nut in the game, you get it wet, and it can give you infinite height. I don't know how Nintendo managed to mess that one up, but there is a glitch with that, and so yeah, I mean, what we call it is it's the nut jumpy, the nut. So the title of the video is 3,000 people watch me nut live on stream, world record, and so I got the world record in minimum captures. And then the title or the thumbnail itself is it's black with white text, and it says it's a Mario Odyssey speedrun trick. I swear it isn't weird. So like they see the title and they're like, what? And then they see the thumbnail and they're like, okay, what? If it's like, it's just the question for that one is just what? And they click on the video to figure out what the heck I'm talking about.
All right, so I'm super intrigued. So you have YouTube, you have Twitch. How does that interconnect for you? How do you see they play off each other? Do you look as YouTube as like a feeder to Twitch? You know, like what in terms of, because in your master plan or how, you know, the pipe works of your content creation, are they connected? Are they not connected? Do people come into your Twitch be like, oh, I loved your nut video? Like, what do they?
Yeah, so I think I've done polls occasionally in my chat just out of curiosity. How many people came from my YouTube channel? How many people found me sort of organically through Twitch? Recently, it's a little bit it's shifted a little bit towards the Twitch side, but up until like a few months ago, 95% came from YouTube. Like discoverability on Twitch is basically non-existent unless you're getting on the front page or you're already a massive creator at the top of the categories, like the big categories that people actually search for. No one's gonna show up at your Twitch stream, so pretty much all of my success is growing on YouTube, and those people being interested enough to come to Twitch. And it doesn't necessarily have to be YouTube. Like there's a friend of mine, the Point Girl that I collaborated with yesterday, when he first started, a lot of the people found him through Reddit. He posted some of his clips to Reddit, and they did really well in a bigger subreddit. And that brought people to his YouTube. His YouTube grew to a size where people started watching more, and then now it's YouTube that brings him an audience. Like you gotta, to grow on Twitch, you have to get a platform with better discovery and funnel in viewers from there.
Got it.
Whether that be, and like when I say platform, I mean you could just like, you might have bigger creators as friends on Twitch, and that would help with discovery because you're working with a bigger creator. They have an audience. Their audience might be interested in you.
For you, so what other platforms do you mess around with outside of YouTube and Twitch?
For me, I am currently I have a Discord, and that's just like the way I see each sort of platform. It has I have to see like a reason for it to exist. Like there has to be a reason for someone to want to follow. Like recently on my Twitter, like I used to tweet out whenever videos were live, but people don't follow you on Twitter to see when videos are live. They have YouTube for that. Like occasionally I'll do, if there's like a special video, I'll tweet about it. But like Twitter, people want to be there and follow you because they want to know what you're more like as a person, or maybe want to see some of your opinions. At least like there's a reason for that, and that's kind of my reason. Is I like maybe Twitter is for memes for some people, but like there's a reason for it to exist. So Twitter for me is kind of just random funny thoughts that I have, just interacting with friends occasionally. I'm also on TikTok. A little bit inconsistent on that, but
what's your take on TikTok in terms of where it fits in, what you've experienced with it, the value proposition?
For me, converting people to go from TikTok to another platform is near impossible. But I mean, it's not nothing. Like I know, like because of what I've noticed is there's people with like 200,000 like followers on TikTok, and all of their stuff is just Twitch clips. But I go to their Twitch and they have like 1,000 followers. It's so like getting people to go from TikTok to any other platform is so hard, but it's the discoverability on that site is insane, or that app is insane. Like it's way easier to blow up on TikTok than anywhere else, just because it is all short form content and people go through so much more content. So for me, TikTok is just really fun or interesting highlights that are really short, that can, self-contained. So that kind of stuff as well. But I imagine for TikTok, and I haven't done this yet, once I get to a certain size, maybe like once a week, making a TikTok to be like, say that like it's like a special event going on my Twitch. Like make it like it's a special event that you want to see. Like you're missing out if you don't see it. But I mean, don't be so direct about it. Make, capture their interest with what it is rather than tell them that it's special. Like make them think, like let them know that it is something.
Did you grow up around like, were your parents in sales or marketing, or no, nothing at all like that?
No, nothing at all. No, actually, I didn't really have a consistent internet connection. I think I had like dial-up internet that barely worked until I was like 16. Like the videos that I would watch occasionally were like at school on like lunch breaks for like YouTube.
Wow. So as we wrap stuff up here, what do you like? Where are you at now? Like, what do you want to have happen? It seems like you have YouTube figured out. Are you happy with where Twitch is? Like, what's keeping you going in terms of what are you interested in? What are you looking to do? Are there things you're excited about? Where what's the future for you in your mind?
Mm-hmm. So me right now, my plan when I started was pick a niche and go into that niche and expand as much as I can until I start to plateau, and then kind of expand outwards a little bit and try and find something else that's still niche but a little bit more broad. And so I'm just gradually broadening it right now. And like I went from exclusively Super Mario Odyssey to include some other Mario games and maybe a little bit of Breath of the Wild, a little bit of Pokemon. And now like I'm kind of expanding into Minecraft a little bit. And instead of doing exclusively challenges, doing some more casual stuff. So it's just gradually broadening my audience. And right now I'm sort of in a phase where I am trying to expand into a little bit more, maybe not necessarily only Nintendo games, and maybe some more casual playthrough stuff. So I'm less limited.
Anything out there that's like piqued your interest, be like, oh, I'd love to play this on Twitch and make a video on it, but it isn't necessarily in my current umbrella? Are there things out there like, oh, this would make a great video?
I feel like there's a lot of opportunity in I haven't done it yet, but there's a lot of opportunity in Minecraft. Minecraft's really blowing up right now. I'm starting to get into that. Another one that I've seen is the I think it's the Skyrim series, the Fallout series, and Grand Theft Auto. All of those three, they have huge audiences, and I think a lot of the good ideas have been put out there already, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there for like videos. Like I see the occasional video, like I keep up with certain creators that are kind of in my area of kind of content, and I see what they're doing, and occasionally I'll come up with like a random idea. It's like if I was them, I'd probably try out something like this. But I think those games coming up with interesting ideas, it's not like the well isn't dry yet for those games.
You remind me a lot of, and now that it's kind of like, just in terms of your content, there's this Madden YouTuber that I know. His name's TD Barrett. And like some of his best videos, whether you're into sports or not, it doesn't matter. But it's like some of his best videos is, can Steph Curry hit a full court shot before Shaq can hit a free throw? But just like every one of his videos is like I see a pattern with his content and yours. Completely different arenas, but like tiny 99 overall players versus a giant 0 overall player. Just stuff like that, like stuff you just want to watch, whether or not you even like sports or Pokemon or whatever. And I think there's a lot. I mean, clearly there's a lot to it, because it's, you know, you've been so successful with it. It's just, it's, dude, that's amazing. So for you, so now your next steps are, okay, hey, look, you've kind of have your base and now you want to continue to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, yeah, I'm trying to grow right now, broaden it and do casual playthroughs cuz to compete and actually get your casual playthroughs recommended, you need to already have that base audience that's willing to watch, or else like YouTube isn't going to recommend it cuz like anyone can do a casual playthrough, right? I started out with doing challenge runs that maybe only me or a few people could do, and that's interesting because only a few people can do it. But now that I have a bigger audience, I'm able to compete with all the other people that are doing casual playthroughs, and mine be will be recommended just because I have that base audience that's able to compete with the larger creators.
And are you doing that because I don't say you're getting bored, but like casual playthroughs are more fun? Have some of the stuff become not as much fun for you?
It's not that it's less fun, but there's a limited audience for everything, right? And if like a start to plateau a little bit, okay, got to expand outwards. And I mean, the biggest audience is, you know, people that just play games. And
What do you mean
so,
by that?
well, like not everyone is interested in, you know, beating a game in a crazy way. Someone might just like I said want to watch some gameplay or want to watch something interesting in the game that they like. So it like speedrunning specifically doesn't always appeal to everybody, but maybe just a casual playthrough where someone's just messing around with the game, learning new things can be interesting. But it's I think for me, I'm starting to reach the limit of at least Super Mario Odyssey. I'm starting to plateau there a little bit, and Breath of the Wild that plateaued a little bit ago. So I've been just expanding outwards, just to always have like a sort of focus on growth.
Got
Well,
it.
like, but it's focusing on growth, but you know, I'm making sure that I also enjoy everything that I'm doing because that's how you burn out is you focus on stuff that does well but you don't like.
And for you, do you sample that by like, hey, this one day this week we're gonna try something different on Twitch, and then you read the audience. Do they like it? Do they not?
Yes,
Got it.
absolutely. Yeah, Twitch is a really good test to see what does well on YouTube. Like if the audience is significantly less on a certain day that I'm doing something, you know, okay, less interest there. We'll try something new next week, and you know, it's only one day a week. It's a single day. It's not that big of a deal. You can handle that.
Dude, let me ask this. What's the story behind your name, SmallAnt? Where did that come
Uh,
from?
I made it when I was 12 and I was trying to make a RuneScape account name and I couldn't think of a name and I saw an ant on the windowsill.
SmallAnt, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot thank you so much for coming on. I mean, this is, you know, to me, this is what it's about. You never, like, I'm never done learning, and I think you just, I mean, Omega dropped, you know, nut jumped all over the podcast. But for people that are maybe hearing you for the first time on the podcast, can you tell people where they can find you and when they can find you online?
Yeah, so I'm SmallAnt on pretty much YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, or Discord. I post videos like 2 times a week on my YouTube on average, and on Twitch I stream every 1 p.m. Pacific time every weekday. So there's that.
Well, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming on. Mods, please drop everything. Check out SmallAnt Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. I know what I'm doing this evening. I'm going down to SmallAnt wormhole, and I'm blown away, man. And you know, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to keeping in touch. What I'm gonna do, and this I was gonna do this behind the fourth wall. I'm gonna ask graciously if SmallAnt will tear my YouTube channel to shreds privately. You know, spend like 5-10 minutes being like, this is what you should do. And don't be surprised when we see us try to execute on some of his advice. But
Yeah,
dude,
absolutely.
keep in touch. Very happy for your success. Thank you for coming on and sharing everything too. You know, it was cool to hear your story and you know, just how different of a take you have to both Twitch and YouTube. But thanks so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.